You're listening to Welcome to Eloma, a podcast for highly ambitious dreamers who get shit done. I'm your host, Kiley Peters. This is a space where we talk about stamina and resilience. So two characteristics I know to be true of great entrepreneurs are stamina and resilience. I mean, there are so many other things that make up a great entrepreneur, but if you don't have the stamina or endurance to keep going when times get tough, or the resilience to pick yourself back up time after getting knocked down, then you're just not going to make it. You're just not. Today's guest knows a thing or two about stamina and resilience. As an Ironman athlete who built and sold a 200-employee software business that spanned 12 countries, he knows a thing or two about going the distance. Steven Pivnik is also the newly minted author of Built to Finish: How to Go the Distance in Business and in Life. Welcome to Eloma, Steven.
Thank you, Kylie. Great to be here.
I'm so excited to have you. So, building a company to 200 employees spanning 12 continents is, quite a thing. So tell us a little bit about what that journey looked like for you, how you started your IT business and what it took to scale to 200 employees in 12 continents or
Sure.
Countries.
So,
Not 12 continents. I mean, a couple continents.
There's only 7 of those.
Yeah. I was like, oh, no. Countries.
That's funny. Sure. So I started my career as a computer programmer in the late 80s, early 90s. And around the 1993 timeframe, I got bitten by the entrepreneurial bug. And I thought that I could, have a better career and make a bigger difference in the industry by starting my own company. So along with a couple of other founders, we started a consulting organization and we started doing custom application development and doing some really cool application projects for various companies. We were headquartered on Wall Street at the time, so we had a lot of financial industry customers and the like. And one of them, a bank, you may have heard of them, JP Morgan, now JP Morgan Chase, heard about our custom application development abilities, and they asked us to develop a conversion product tool to convert some email data for them. And we thought to ourselves, well, that's a really boring project. But being entrepreneurial and not wanting to turn down any business, we said, sure, we'll write this little conversion utility for you. Fast forward a couple of years, that tiny little custom project mushroomed into an entire suite of products that help companies convert email data. So back then, this is early 90s, enterprise email platforms were starting to be a thing, and companies needed to get data onto that platform. So our little custom project turned into an entire suite of products to help service that trend that was occurring in the marketplace in terms of getting data onto the email platforms that were becoming popular at the time. So slowly but surely, it was month after month, quarter after quarter, year after year of growth, and we grew the company for 26 years straight until we finally sold it.
Okay. All right. We got to back up. I have questions here.
Sure.
So I think that's such a great example of taking advantage of an opportunity.
Sure.
Right. So think about what if you guys if you said, no, that's boring, I'm not going to do that. Like the company would probably look quite different today.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, I can't even imagine what the company would have. It definitely would have been substantially smaller. We definitely we wouldn't have created a global footprint for ourselves. It would have been would something else as interesting would have come up? Maybe, who knows?
Maybe
not. But taking advantage of something like that proved to be incredibly pivotal in our
there you go.
lifetime. In our lifetime.
Not 12 continents, but pivotal. Yeah. So I think that's just such a great lesson and a great reminder that we need to be, as entrepreneurs, we need to keep our eyes and our ears open and be open-minded about whatever opportunities might present themselves, and always take advantage of trying to continue to further those opportunities and get curious, because you never know where it's going to go. The second thing I want to dive into before we move on, 26 years is a long time.
Yes.
So we're talking about stamina and resilience a bit here. How do you, how did you do this for 26 years?
It's a great coincidence that 26 years, 26 miles happens to be the distance of a marathon. So it's a complete coincidence. You know what? One of my biggest things that I talk about a lot is having fun. I mean, it was fun from day one. I mean, I'm not saying it wasn't stressful. I mean, I've went through every single, form of stress, known to man. Being an
Yeah,
entrepreneur is very, very stressful. But the underlying feeling that we had most of the time was fun.
good.
We just had a great time doing what we were doing. We really enjoyed the customers that we were working with. And we just, the old saying goes, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. I don't feel like I've worked for 26 years. I just feel like I had a, 26-year endurance event called being the founder and owner of a company. And that helped, to wake up in the morning every single day and to get after it.
Yeah. Was there like a mindset or a mantra or anything that was really uh, important for you during as you built?
Yeah, I mean, we had a maniacal approach to customer satisfaction. That was the
Okay.
underlying foundation from the time that we were, doing consulting work and application development to our email conversion products. We had a maniacal approach. If a customer had a problem, it could be at 4 p.m. on Friday, it could be in the middle of a weekend, it could be whenever. Their problem became our problem, and it was an all hands on deck type mentality. I've spent weekends at customer sites. I have dozens of employees that have ruined their weekends and vacations because of customer issues. So I think the maniacal approach to customer satisfaction was just one of these mantras that we had that carried the day all the time.
And what about for you independently, like as an owner? Was there anything that like a personal mantra or a saying or mindset that was really crucial for you?
Um, I don't think I said it very often, but I definitely had the work hard, play hard mentality. We
Sure.
definitely, whenever I had an opportunity to interview somebody, I mean, one of my many questions was, if you're looking for a 40-hour a week job, this isn't the right place for you. There's just way too much work to do.
Hmm.
There's a lot of demand for our products and our services, so there's going to be a lot of demand on your time. In return, obviously, there was financial rewards for folks in terms of salary, bonuses, stock options, and other forms of compensation. But then we
Hmm.
also, back to my fun comment, we also went out of our way to make sure we had fun, and we built a lot of friendships. We threw some great holiday parties. We had a lot of wonderful outings. Even when the company became very virtual, and we were virtual before virtual was a thing. We weren't
Hmm.
exactly pioneers, but really, really early on, we became a virtual company. Because we didn't have money, because we didn't have the expense of real estate, we had budget to spend on company get-togethers. And
Yeah,
whether it's holiday parties or just little regional get-togethers, or maybe pre and post trade show get-togethers for the staff that were attending a trade show, we
sure.
went above and beyond to make sure we just had fun as a group, and that helped a lot.
Yeah, I mean that's critical, and investing in your people is so important. And I love that fun was such a big piece for you guys because it's easy to forget that sometimes. Like as you
Yes.
mentioned, there's always so much work to be done, and sometimes we do interrupt vacations and our weekends and all the things that we know and don't want to do. But it's important that we make sure that we prioritize that as well because life is short, right?
100%. Well said.
Um, okay, so that being said, I'm sure there are a ton of lessons you learned along the way. So what are some big lessons that pop out to you, either personally as an individual, and or anything about running the business, like big lessons? I mean, I think maybe have fun, make it fun is probably one of them, but
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
the big, I mean, I wouldn't do too many things differently, but the biggest thing I would do differently from a business owner perspective is to focus on recurring revenue. As
Mm,
successful as we were, and even though we grew for 26 years in a row, our products and our services were very project based. As a company needed to be doing something in order to need our products and services, which is
hmm.
very, very strange for the software industry because most software is purchased and then there's either a subscription in a SaaS model or there's a
Yeah.
maintenance fee paid for the renewal of that software. Our software was one-time use software. So, which
Interesting.
made it really challenging. So come January 1st, we needed to refill our pipeline and sell as much as we sold last year and 10% more
Wow.
every single January. We pulled it off just because there was such great demand for our products,
Yeah.
and we did a better job than our competition. So that's why we pulled it off. But hindsight being 2020, had we focused a little bit more on recurring revenue type products, it would have been significantly less stressful to hit that number every quarter, every year.
Yeah. No, absolutely. That makes sense. Um, okay, recurring revenue. Anything else that came up for you, like life lessons learned, business lessons, anything else that popped up over
I think
26 years?
I mean, again, hindsight is an incredibly powerful tool, right?
Yeah.
So we always shied away from bringing on outside capital. We were very proud that we were bootstrapped and didn't have to give
Okay.
away any equity to other investors.
Nice.
And it ended up working out well because when I finally had the exit, I got to keep 100%. I mean, except for the employee stock options and other folks that got compensated. There weren't any investors that got a piece of that pie. So that worked out well at the end.
That's
But
awesome.
had there been professional investors in the company earlier on, we would definitely we would have grown faster and we would have realized an
Mm,
exit a lot quicker than 26 years. Again, no regrets, but just
yeah.
a lesson. That and the recurring revenue were two very expensive lessons learned.
Yeah, that is an expensive lesson. And also like the amount of time, right? So, I mean, you dedicated 26 years of your life. And like you said, there's no regrets. But if you had asked for help sooner, maybe the exit would have come earlier and who knows what dollar signs would have looked like. But um, yeah, I read a quote. I read a quote the other day, and I think it's from maybe Henry David Thoreau. We'll see. But something along the lines of the cost for everything is the amount of life you're willing to pay for it.
Oh wow, I like that.
I'm gonna have to don't all listeners look that up before you start quoting it. But it's something like that, and I think that's really an interesting perspective
Yes,
in the world of entrepreneurship and business ownership because we do so often our lives become one with our business.
sure.
And it's like, how much life are you willing to trade?
Oh yeah, 100%. And again, I mean, I advise other founders now, and I know the path to liquidity so much better now than I
Yeah.
did in the past. So it's just so much easy. There's so many proven ways to grow quicker, more efficiently, and realize exits than the path I went. Again, no
Hmm.
regrets. It was a phenomenal ride, and I'm still young enough to do it again.
Yeah.
But I get a lot of joy into helping others do it and living vicariously through them.
Yeah. I mean, that's such a gift too. I mean, so often we want to take the things we've learned and give them back to
Yes.
to help other people, right?
Hmm.
Um, so so let me ask you this then. So for anybody listening and they want to scale their business, maybe in a similar fashion or, however you would recommend, what recommendations, so let me rephrase this. What recommendations would you have to give to somebody listening who wants to scale quickly and is looking for an exit or a sale payday?
Sure. The biggest piece of advice I can give is for the founder to surround themselves with people that have been there, done that. People that are, most founders think they know it all. Nobody can run this business better than I can. That is not true. There are people that are out there that have the track record and the experience of accomplishing exactly what you want accomplished. So it may be very expensive, but he or she is worth their weight in gold. So to surround yourself with the right chief operating officer, chief financial officer, head of sales, head of marketing, head of HR and IT, all those functions are so incredibly important. Some a little bit more than others. but you have to overclub those positions. For example, let's say you're running a $20 million company and you're looking for a new CFO. Don't hire a CFO that has experience running a $20 million company. Hire a CFO that's coming out of a 30, 40, or $50 million company, because they're going to be able to take your organization to the next level quicker.
Mhm.
And that same can be said for every other executive function that I just mentioned. Overclub those positions, and you're going to be amazed at how much quicker and easier and less stressful growth is going to be.
I feel that so deeply. That's such great advice. And it's hard sometimes because those positions come with some pretty steep price tags.
Yes.
But, I was just speaking with somebody yesterday and they were like, I was wondering if this is going to be worth the investment. And it almost always is. Like
Yes.
when you find the right person, just go all in. People are the greatest investment you can make. And so I love that that's the number one recommendation.
Yeah, 100%. And I find that, and I was this way as well. A lot of founders, they hem and haw over some of the folks that they have in their company. And
Mhm.
there's a lot of founders make the mistake of hiring friends, hiring family, and keeping
Mhm.
people along longer than they should be within the organization. And these are gut-wrenching decisions. Every single time I
Yeah.
had to make one of these gut-wrenching decisions, I stayed up nights, if not weeks, and was nauseous when I had to have that conversation. But after it was said and done, it was the best thing in the world. And without exception, I was kicking myself in the head for not doing it sooner.
Yeah.
So when you have the right people in the right role, it's amazing how much smoother things become.
It's true. And yeah, they're never easy conversations. Like they suck.
Yes.
They and I don't think they get easier either.
No, they
Like
never do. The first one
no.
sucked as much as the 100th one did.
Yeah, it sucks. Like I know every time I've had to let somebody go, like I've cried for most of them. Like not on the call or on the
Right, right.
conversation, right? But like it just sucks. It sucks because you care.
Sure.
Um Okay, well that leads me into my next question. So much of entrepreneurship and building a business is about being able to make decisions and make hard decisions.
Right.
So, what is one decision that, and I won't say that you regretted, but that you maybe wished had not been such a painful lesson to learn if we haven't already covered it?
Yeah, painful lesson to learn. We rushed into a lot of things. We did a couple of acquisitions, a couple of aqua hires. Some of them we were so caught up in the excitement of announcing an acquisition because we wanted to pound our chest in the marketplace. Look at us.
Sure. Yeah,
Not only are
yeah.
we growing organically, but we're also acquiring companies. So there was, I'd say at least one, possibly two, that should have been done a little bit differently, or maybe not done at all. Just again, we were getting way ahead of ourselves, or maybe I was getting way ahead of myself,
Sure.
and wanting to be a big boy on the street and announce an acquisition. So that's probably um, what I want to leave people with. Don't rush into things just for your ego.
Yeah, that's big though. And that's also hard to check sometimes, especially when you get
Yeah,
on a roll. Yeah, that's
exactly,
good.
exactly.
Okay, so all of that being said, you are a newly minted author. You have just released your new book, Built to Finish. Um, Now, talk to me a little bit about uh, some of the things that you want readers to take away from this book.
Sure. So when I started participating in endurance sports, I found out that there is a lot of similarities between entrepreneurship and endurance sports. All the planning, preparation, execution, pivots, setbacks, stamina, perseverance. I mean, you name it. The list goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship is an endurance sport. When I sold my company, and coincidentally, at the same time, I had finally qualified for the Ironman World Championship in Kona, Hawaii, which is like for the best of the best in the sport, and 100 other lucky lottery winners like me. To get into it, I said, you know what? I need to document this because I want to share all of the lessons that I've learned along both journeys, the business journey and the entrepreneurial journey. But to answer your question, what I want people to walk away with is that there's a formula for success. whether it be
Mm,
endurance sports or whether it, and I'm not talking about winning endurance sports. I'm talking about participation in endurance sports, which in
yeah.
and of itself is a Herculean effort and something to be very, very proud of. My motto is not fast, not last. I've never won one race,
Yeah.
but I don't care because I enjoy the
Not
participation
fast, not
in the
last.
event.
Yeah.
There's so many people that have been super successful in business and in endurance sports, and they have formulas for how they do what they do. So I wanted to, not that I mean, again, I'm proud of the success I've had in both, and I just wanted to share, some of those ingredients so that others can just take, one, two, three, or five, or all 21 chapters and apply that to their own life.
Okay, so 21 chapters, all different lessons learned. What's one teaser you can give us right now?
In the biggest teaser is envisioning the finish and manifesting things. The
Ooh.
human mind is not capable of telling the difference between an event that actually happened or one that was very properly, vividly imagined. So with not you don't need to become a master at meditation. One-on-one level meditation skill will allow you to really envision something in your mind, and then all of a sudden, you subconsciously start acting in the best interests of that goal that you just envisioned. And it's amazing the outcomes that you'll see. As an example, I 4 years prior to selling my company, I really that's when the plan was hatched. I'm going to sell my
Hmm.
company, and I had a specific number in mind. At the same time, I said, I'm going to get into the Ironman World Championship. I wrote a check out to myself for a specific number and I hung it in front of my computer. And I also, right next to a poster of the Ironman World Championship. And I said, someday, somehow, I'm going to cross the finish line at the Ironman World Championship and I'm going to get a check for that much money.
Yeah.
And 4 years later, both were accomplished. So I think envisioning the finish and
Yeah.
and manifesting things just an incredibly powerful tool. And I think that's chapter 20. Or
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I've had a lot of conversations with people about the power of manifestation, and not everybody's a believer, but I think that it is so powerful, and what your mind can produce is in real life is so crazy. And so that's such a great example. I know there's also another story. I love how you wrote yourself a check. So there's another story of Jim Carrey writing
yes,
himself a
yes,
check for
exactly.
$10 million um, for like by Thanksgiving of a certain date. And he went about and did all of his things and then started like The Mask and all these movies. And then he got Dumb and Dumber and he
Yep.
got paid $10 million for that movie. And he did it like the year before this date that he had set for himself. Um, and so, yeah, there's something really tangible to that. That's really
Yeah,
awesome.
I heard that Jim Carrey story just a month or two ago, and I'm like, holy cow, him too.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
does work.
I think I'm going to start that. I'm going to write myself a check and I'm just going to stick it right there. And, we'll just dangle it in front of me for a few years. We'll see what happens.
Yep.
I love it. So, Stephen, you've done so many things that you have great reason to be wildly, wildly proud of. What are you most proud of right now at
Wow.
this conversation?
Most proud of. I think I'm so I think, I got the entrepreneurial spirit and the great work ethic, from my father, who's passed, he's not with us anymore, and also from my grandfather, who uprooted an entire family from Eastern Europe, to move us to the United States in search of a better life. I think I'm most proud of instilling that same type of work ethic and, go-getter type attitude into my daughters. I think, they're armed. They've seen it. They've witnessed it, right? So I think they're armed with the same type of mentality that as long as you set a goal and put your mind to it and go through the proper process of planning and execution, that it can be achieved. They've already achieved some great things in their young lives, and I think they know that they can achieve anything they set their mind to. And I love the Ironman mantra is anything is possible. And I reuse that all the time. I think instilling in them to believe that anything is possible is probably my biggest accomplishment.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. And how lucky they are to have such an incredibly supportive dad. I mean, that's amazing. And
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing this even greater into the world. So this might lead into the next question, and you might just say like ditto. So that's totally fine if you say that. I've got 2 more questions for you, Steven.
Sure.
What impact do you want to have on the world, or what legacy do you want to leave?
It's pretty ditto. I would just
Okay.
add that, just don't be afraid. I mean, a lot of people, have some ideas of lofty goals, and they say, you know what, that's not possible, not for me. That's not that can't happen. And I couldn't tell you that's not true. I'm a college dropout, and other than skiing, I was a complete couch potato. I didn't participate in any sports growing up, and I didn't take on triathlon until I was 40. So you can easily say that I have no right ever crossing the finish line at the Ironman World Championship, and I have no right collecting a fat check from a company exit that I grew for 26 years because of that the lack of any sort of pedigree. So I hope that I dispel the myth that many people have that some goals are just not for them. It's just not true.
Anything is possible, right?
Anything is possible.
Yeah. Okay. Last question for you. What is your greatest insight or discovery about both life and entrepreneurship?
Insight or discovery? I have to go back to my fun comment. I think it's just such an integral part of living, working, and participating in any hobbies. If it's not fun, just don't do it anymore, and find something that is. I mean, it's medically proven that laughter adds years to life. I forget what the actual formula is, but whatever it is, I'm probably going to live till 140 because I 100 times a day because I love my family, I love my friends, I love what I do, and I'm always laughing and giggling. And so I think, find what makes you happy and pursue it would be the answer.
I love that. I love that. Steven, thank you so much for joining us today. If people want to reach out for more information, what is the best way to get in touch with you?
Best way is via my website. You can go to stevenpivnik.com, or you can find me on LinkedIn as well.
Awesome. And we'll make sure that information is in the show notes. If you have loved listening to this podcast as much as I have had conducting it, please go ahead and leave a review wherever you are listening. And Steven, thank you so much, and congratulations on the book launch.
Thank you, Kylie. It was great being here.
To continue learning how to better build your business and make your vision a reality, subscribe to the Welcome to Eloma email list at welcometoeloma.com.